Welcome to the Chamber Neighbors Podcast, a show highlighting Chapin's community and commerce. Now here's your hosts, Greater Chapin Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Paul Sadler, and Chapin Neighbors Magazine's Daniel Rendelman.
This is Daniel with the Chapin Neighbors Magazine.
And I'm Paul Sadler with the Greater Chapin Chamber of Commerce.
And Paul, who's the treat today?
Daniel, this is the treat above all treats today.
Okay, what's the treat?
The treat is, well, it's me and you.
It's a me.
It's a me.
Hello, Paul Sadler.
Hello, Daniel Rendelman. It is us. It is you and I
what
today.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about, I don't know, networking maybe?
I think that is a great idea and a worthwhile subject.
Think so too.
Because everybody does it.
Right. Whether you know it or not, you're doing it, right? You're talking to somebody at Publix about what you do. You're networking. You're talking to somebody at the bank about what you do. You're networking. Your network is your net worth.
Ooh.
You know who I heard that from?
I don't know.
Chief Thomas Griffin. That's his go-to. It's his go-to. I've heard him say that a lot.
So, Chief, if you have the right to remain silent. That's not
his other go-to.
So, your network is your net worth.
Oh, he's gonna love this. We're definitely going to jail after this releases.
Yeah,
and it's true. Your network is your net worth, right? It's who you know. It's the people, the connections that you're making with people to further help your business and to further help their business. And so, while we laugh about it, it's true.
And not everyone comes out of the womb just networking and knowing what to say and having an elevator pitch.
Right.
There are some things that we can learn, some things that we can kind of develop and massage and finesse to be better at.
Some tips and tricks
of
networking, because I think anybody can do it, right? I mean, even your most extroverted people can network and come out of their shell.
Introvert.
Did I say extroverted?
Yeah, extroverted.
Can we re-record this?
No, it's okay.
Introverted.
Yeah.
Your most introverted people, they can network too. It just takes a little more of a nudging to have them network. But we get lots of folks coming to our events. Daniel, we do the last Friday, the first Friday. We do a 30-minute session before our partner luncheon or breakfast. And, we like to foster that. We like to nurture that networking time, and we want people to take advantage of it, right?
It makes my heart sad. When we show up for these events and someone is sitting by themselves at a table. It could be the introvert or just could be someone not really familiar with networking.
Yeah.
To where if you're going into a room, you don't want to be, necessarily that slick politician, but working the room, having conversations, presenting yourself well. And so, what about some tips on that? It is
that's certainly hard for people to do. But I think one of the first things is just to be open, right? To be open to having conversations, knowing that you're going to come in and people are going to ask you what your name is, and people are going to ask you what you do. I attended a conference last year, and they wanted everyone to have at least 2 or 3 stories in their back pocket at all times, and so being able to insert those stories into conversation really breaks the ice and really, helps people understand who you are and what you do and why you do what you do.
Was one of those stories you got pulled over for speeding and you were told your network
is your network?
Still there. One thing I hate about networking, though, no, it's not. One thing I hate about networking, though, is like when you go to shake someone's hand and it's like a limp fish, like a dead fish that you're shaking. That's not a good thing, right? So a firm handshake, eye contact.
Yeah, those are the easy soft skills, right? Like
soft skills.
We can.
A name tag.
A name tag is always good, because you know what? Honestly, you can tell me your name, but if I don't know you, I'm gonna forget your name. But once I see you again, I'm gonna remember it. But having that name tag really helps me remember you.
You have 9 kids. I don't even know their names.
Do they have name tags?
Only for when we get together, family reunions.
Which one of you?
Yeah, that's right.
But you're right. A firm handshake, making eye contact, another thing is not standing in a closed circle.
Ooh, lean into this, y'all. This is
A
good.
closed circle prohibits people from entering into your circle. And when you're networking, when you're talking with other people, try to stand open. Make sure that there's gaps in between you and the other people, so you're not shoulder to shoulder. And because it's not inviting, right? Like, it's not inviting if you have a closed circle. You look cliquish, and like you don't want to let anybody else enter into your conversation. So have a more open body language too, and that just sort of lets people come in and join in on the conversation. Some people are shy about that, though. Some people won't, even if it's an open circle, they're not going to come. But give people that opportunity to come and
Yeah, that's right.
come and
That's
chat.
right. And then when you're having the chat, open-ended questions are key. And we all, one idea here is when you're asking questions, when you're talking to folks, it's okay to be interesting, but it's even better to be interested, right? And
Ooh.
learn about the person, find out what's going on. And, you could sit there and have conversation with someone and they just talk.
Right.
And then, you know, they walk away and they're like, oh man, that's my best friend now. Because they did all the talking. But having some conversations, as you mentioned, having some stories or things,
Right.
it's about building relationships, not just making contacts.
Absolutely. And I think there's a huge difference between just making a contact than building a relationship, right? Making a contact, it's like a one-time deal, right? Okay, great. I've got your information. I know who you are. But developing a relationship with somebody takes time. And that means coming to the first Friday, but then coming to the last Friday, and then coming to a ribbon cutting, or continually to come to help build that relationship. And ultimately, why are we here? We're here to build those relationships, to do what? To do business with each other. And I think that's the ultimate goal. And we do business with people who we know, like, and trust. I think we've talked about that on this podcast before. We're only going to do business with those people. And it starts with the networking, and it starts with the relationship building, and not just a contact, but truly investing in a business relationship with other folks to network and
And
to.
that relationship is when you talk to someone, you build a relationship, you meet them, it's not just that person, but it's everyone that they know. So you're
Right.
expanding that web.
Mhm.
So, you might have someone at a networking event, or you might be around for a ribbon cutting, or just someone, as you mentioned, at Publix or Lowe's or Food Line, wherever you are. You start talking to them. It's not just who they are, but it's everyone that they know could be a potential client or customer of yours. One way to do that is just to ask for help. When it's kind of right, asking for advice or for help, it never hurts. You just say, you know what? I'm looking for someone who does this, dot, dot, dot.
Right.
Or my company does this, dot, dot, dot. Having the conversation, and asking for help is key. One of the things I found that's really neat for networking is with online networking. And here's what I mean. Let's say you're at an event, you meet someone, you get a business card, whatever that happens to be. When you're finished, how about going to Facebook or to Google or to LinkedIn or blogs, and then give them a review or a thumbs up?
Oh, yeah. What a
Something
great
that kind
idea.
of builds that relationship back and keeps you top of
Yes.
mind,
Yep.
which is really nice. And having an active profile is key. However, you have to be conscious of your digital image, because if you're doing things that might be controversial on your social media or your your Facebook, let's say Facebook,
You do. You do.
if you're doing things that could actually turn people off.
Sure. Yeah.
Um,
So you do have to be very careful with what you're posting out there, because people do look you up.
Yeah.
They do look you up and see what you're.
It's so strange because, like,
Look.
LinkedIn will send you an email every week and says this many people viewed your profile,
Right.
and I don't know that many people.
No, it's
What's
a lot
happening?
of
It's
people.
like 2 people.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Like, who is looking at
Yeah,
this thing?
why are
Like,
they looking at me?
am I really that interesting? But people
Yeah.
do. They do look to us online. And you mentioned, like, reviews as well. Like, you don't have to buy a product to review a company. Like, if you met the president of XYZ company, hey, give them a review. They were nice. They were friendly. Or if you've got somebody servicing your HVAC and they did a heck of a good job, give them a review, write them a review. That's all part of networking because you're spreading their good word. You're spreading the good word of their good work.
That's good.
And so that all of that helps. Another tip, we often listen, but we're often thinking of that next question to ask, right? So I think listening actively to the person or persons you are in front of is
what were we saying?
listening actively.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe you should try. No, but networking, it's not just about you talking, right? It's not just all about, oh, my name is Daniel Rendelman and I do this, 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 and this. It's listening to them and listening attentively to others, and asking questions. Again, you mentioned like not asking like open-ending yes or no questions, or asking yes or no questions, but asking open-ended questions. So have people respond and show genuine interest in their experiences, their products, their perspectives. And I think that just goes a long way, and people can see you're being genuine.
Yeah,
right? You're being real.
And those questions are key. So sometimes it's easy to go into an event, and you could be, when I say an event, it could be going to the doctor's office. It could just be, in line at a restaurant or whatever that is. You're having those conversations, and you never know where that could lead to some close business or someone that becomes an employee or a fan.
Absolutely.
So I've got a quick tip, which is an easy way to remember what to say or how to talk to someone, which is FORM, FORM. I didn't come up with this, but I read it once or something. And FORM, if you don't know what to say, great things you could ask people about. F stands for family, right? Talk to them about their family. So what's your family like? Find out about them. You could talk about O, which is organizations. What organizations are they involved with? Maybe it's with the art league or the women's club, or maybe different networking groups or businesses or churches. So you've got family, you've got organizations. R is easy. It's recreation. What do you like to do?
What do you do for fun?
Hobbies, right?
Yeah.
Fun. What do you spend your weekends doing? And then M is money. Which means what do they do for a living, right?
So you're not asking them how much money they make.
Not necessarily like, hey, can I borrow 50 cents? But what do they do for a living?
Okay.
What do they do for a living, and why did they choose that profession? How does that work out? So form. Family, organizations, recreation, and
money.
Money is another way to kind of make that work.
I like that. That's I'm going to use that.
Well,
Form.
it's been trademarked, and every time you say it, I get a penny.
Form.
No, form. It might have been Henry Ford, or I'm not sure. Someone smarter than me.
Yeah, I'll have to Google it. But no, that's great. It's building relationships, but there's also a step further than just building the relationships and getting to know their form. It's getting to know, it's maintaining that relationship, right? It's continuing to get to know them. It's not just I met you at First Friday and that's it. It's maintaining that relationship, because networking is an ongoing process. It's not just like a one and done, check the box kind of thing. You want to stay in touch with those people who you are meeting. Congratulate them online if it's celebrating an anniversary or they're having a birthday or things like that. They reach a milestone, and you want to continue to nurture that professional relationship with them.
And one thing I hate is when we go to events and someone is maybe they've not listened to this podcast yet, but they're just walking around like a ninja, just giving out their business card, calling out ninja stars. Business card. Here's my card. Here's my card. Here's my card. And that's not really the idea. In fact, I don't carry business cards when I go to events. I feel like that's not why I'm there. Is to give those out. I'm there to have those relationships, get to meet people. You can get your contact information, throw it in my phone. If needed.
Exactly.
So learning to not just kind of pass out a card or go there to do that, but as you said, nurture those relationships with those.
I think like one of the key takeaways from this is to be like intentional, right? To be intentional with your networking, and to be intentional to make those relationships and to build those relationships and to continue those.
So like also having like an elevator pitch somewhat ready.
Right.
a
But not
couple
like a cheesy
sentences.
one where you're like saying it 1,700 times to people.
Do you have one that you do for the chamber?
No, I don't. Like, I really don't. Like, and maybe I do, but like I tailor it, I change it. It's not like a one size fits all
Mhm.
baseball cap. It's completely it's tailored to the current situation or the
Yeah.
environment that I'm in or the people who I'm talking to. Um, so no, I mean I don't. That's probably not the answer you were looking
No,
for.
it's good.
But I don't have one that I can just spit out that's generic. I mean I could, right?
Right,
Like
yeah.
I could.
Well,
But it's like I can't.
As you said, it's situational.
It's situated
So
because
that
I want
also
to be
means you're not a
genuine.
robot. Yeah.
Right, because you want to be genuine. You want to be authentic with people and not saying, yes, the chamber promotes growth of commerce and community and culture. Okay,
I
that's
like
great. But okay,
Yeah.
maybe I'll use that one. But that's boring,
Yeah.
right? That's our mission. But let me show you all the good stuff that we're doing. Let me tell you about all the good stuff we're doing, and not just have a generic, what I just said.
Well, and it's good to also have a question to pique interest for your business. There's nothing wrong with that. So one thing I like to say is, hey, is Chapin an important market for you? Or do you
Yeah.
know someone that Chapin's an important market for? And then they're like, yes, that's me. Okay, well,
By the way,
yeah, by the way, my wife and I, we publish only the community magazine that comes out once a
Mhm.
month. We also help businesses with online presence, digital marketing, and what are you doing with that?
Mhm.
You mentioned, oh, by the way, that's a great phrase
Great phrase.
just to kind of use
Yeah.
as you're kind of networking. What else for
You
for
know,
networking tips?
I'm thinking here, Daniel, when you just mentioned the magazine, and it's kind of unconventional, but like even like your magazine is like network because we get to the stories that you're promoting and publish in the magazine are real life stories,
Mm.
right? They're real people. Like you've got Holly Hayes on and her family on the cover of this month's magazine, although we don't usually mention dates on this podcast.
Yep, that's okay.
It's June in 2024, so I'll go ahead and break that
Holly's a good
ceiling.
member of the chamber.
She's a great member of the chamber, partner of the chamber.
That's right.
And but like when I'm reading these stories, and when I read the stories about students at the career center or students at the high school, reading about Holly's family or reading about things that are happening in Chapin. I don't know. Like I almost feel like I'm networking like with the magazine,
Yeah,
right?
right.
But like I'm connected.
That's right.
I'm connected.
So now you have something to talk about when you see her or people
Exactly.
that were there. And
Exactly.
well, thank you for reading. And
Yes.
this
I
is
skimmed it.
Hey,
I'm just
there you
kidding. I
go.
read it.
There you go. Again, having something to talk about. So if you're going to an event, this is another tip here, and you can look online who has RSVP'd for that event, and
Mhm.
or you get into the room and you scan the room and you say, okay, I need to meet Billy, Bob, and Sue.
Yep.
Right?
Mhm.
I need to meet these folks, and being intentional, as you mentioned, and it could be going to someone who organized the event and say, "Can you introduce me?"
Right. And we've got some board members and some ambassadors and just partners of ours that will do that. They will intentionally introduce you. Bill White comes to mind. He is constantly making those introductions for people. And, he sees a connection between your business and their business. And it's amazing how easy it comes off, for him to make those introductions, and they just start chatting and start
Yeah,
developing those relationships.
great community
So,
connector. Well, as we wrap
absolutely.
it up, any other thoughts on networking?
No, I just think, if you listened and took notes
Yeah,
on this podcast, that I think with your time that you've invested into this and these tips, and I really think you can expand your professional network and who knows, open up some new business opportunities for you.
and your net worth is your
Net worth.
thank you to our police chief Thomas
He's
Griffin
gonna love this.
for that. And if and when you see him with the blue light going on, we hope you'll mention that to him. Thanks so much for listening.
This has been the Chapin Neighbors Podcast, where we highlight all that makes our community special. We hope you enjoyed our time together. Please like, subscribe, and share the Chapin Chamber Neighbors Podcast.